Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast. And today, I'm going to go my review of AEW's Dynamite. Starting off the night, we have a six-man tag team matchup. It is Josh Alexander teaming up with the Young Bucks, taking on Kenny Omega, Bandito, and Brody King. I thought it was a decent match. Back and forth matchup between both teams with Omega, Bandito, and King keeping the pace of the match. Bandito then hits a moonsault to the outside, taking out everyone. King then hits a senton off the apron. Omega, Bandito, and King then hit pile drivers in the middle of the ring. Alexander then hits multiple German suplexes in the middle of the ring, followed by an ankle lock, but the hold is broken. Omega then hits a poison rana on Alexander, followed by Omega hitting a power bomb on Alexander as well. Omega then hits a V-trigger on Alexander in the middle of the ring, followed by a one-winged angel, pins for the three, and your winners of the match are Omega, Bandito, and Brody King. After the match, you can see Omega still in the ring. The Young Bucks get in the ring. Looks like Omega was going to talk to the Young Bucks, but Alexander comes out of nowhere and attacks Omega. Jurassic Express are here. Jurassic Express and attack the Young Bucks. Omega then grabs a microphone. He talks about AEW, as well as his journey with AEW. He praises the fans as well. After that, the lights go out. Lights come back on, and there's somebody standing in the ring next to Omega, and it's none other than the returning of Andrade. Andrade then quickly attacks Omega. Andrade then shakes hands with Don Callis. And it looks like Andrade has joined the Don Callis family. Some interesting stuff there between Andrade and Don Callis. Moving on from that, we have a TNT title matchup. This matchup was originally scheduled to be Kyle Fletcher defending the TNT title against Hologram. But Hologram is injured. Instead, we get Kyle Fletcher defending the TNT title against Orange Cassidy. The match itself, I thought was a good match. Back and forth matchup between Fletcher and Cassidy, with Fletcher keeping the pace of the match. Orange Cassidy then hits a Stun Dog Millionaire on Fletcher in the middle of the ring, followed by Orange hitting a DDT on Fletcher for a near fall. Fletcher then gets up, hits a Tombstone Pile Driver on Orange Cassidy for a near fall. Someone then dressed as Hologram attacks Orange Cassidy. This allowed Fletcher to hit a devastating Brain Buster on Orange Cassidy, pins for the three, and your winner of the match and still TNT champion is Kyle Fletcher. After the match, you can see Fletcher and the fake Hologram attacking Orange Cassidy. The conglomeration come out to save Orange Cassidy. It looks like we got the heel version of Hologram finally making his AEW debut. Moving on from that, we go into a six-man tag team matchup. It is the Death Riders taking on Adam Page and the Ops. I thought it was a decent match. Back and forth matchup between both teams, with the Death Riders keeping the pace of the match. After that, we have Page and Moxley both exchanging in the middle of the ring, with Moxley hitting a pile driver on Page in the middle of the ring, followed by Moxley hitting a paradigm shift as well. Page gets up, hits a buckshot lariat, followed by a deadeye. Page then hits another buckshot lariat in the middle of the ring, pins for the three, and your winners of the match are Adam Page and the Ops. After the match, you can see Page handing Hobbs his trio's title. He hands it to Joe, but all of a sudden the belt falls on the mat. This enraged Joe. Joe then confronts Adam Page. Then Joe then ends up smacking Adam Page in the middle of the ring. And we see AEW security try to separate Samoa Joe and Adam Page. Some interesting stuff there between Samoa Joe and Adam Page. Moving on from that, we have Ty Mello taking on Tony Storm. I thought it was a decent match. Back and forth matchup between Ty Mello and Tony Storm, with Tony Storm keeping the pace of the match. Tony Storm and Ty Mello both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Tony Storm hitting a hip attack on Ty Mello in the corner, followed by Tony Storm hitting a Storm Zero on Ty Mello in the middle of the ring, pins for the three, and your winner of the match is Tony Storm. After the match, you can see Tony Storm grabbing a microphone, talks about All Out, and said that she is nothing without her title. She doesn't know who she is anymore. But Tony Storm also praises Chris Statlander, but Tony says that she has unfinished business with Chris Statlander. Some interesting stuff there between Tony Storm and Chris Statlander. Moving on from that, we have a tag team matchup. It is the Gates of Agony taking on Lee Johnson and Blake Christian, also known as the Swirl. I thought it was an okay match. Back and forth matchup between both teams, with the Gates of Agony keeping the pace of the match. And the Gates of Agony ultimately hit the finish, pins for the three, and your winners of the match are the Gates of Agony. After the match, you can see Ricochet getting in the ring. He was sitting on commentary. He gets in the ring, hits a stun gun on Blake Christian. After that, the Hurt Syndicate are here. They're standing at the stage. MVP grabs a microphone. He talks about All Out. and letting down Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. MVP then mocks Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. MVP says that he wants a street fight against Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. Ricochet then accepts the challenge for next week. Some interesting stuff there between the Gates of Agony and the Hurt Syndicate. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It is the main event of AEW's Dynamite. It is a tag team matchup. It is Wheeler Yuta teaming up with Marina Shafir, taking on Darby Allin and the AEW Women's Champion, Chris Statlander. I thought it was a good match. Back and forth matchup between both teams with Darby Allin and Chris Statlander keeping the pace of the match. Darby and Yuta both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Chris hitting a suplex, sending Marina through the timekeeper's table. Looked absolutely brutal. After that, we have Darby hitting a suplex off the top, landing on a bunch of chairs. Yuta then hits an angle slam on Chris Statlander in the middle of the ring. Chris then throws Marina into the tacks. Marina then is blinded by some kind of powder. Marina then accidentally chokes Wheeler Yuta. Darby then hits a coffin drop, pins for the 3. And your winners of the match are Darby Allin and Chris Statlander. After the match, Toni Storm music hits. She's standing on the ramp. Her and Chris Statlander get face-to-face, and all of a sudden, Toni Storm and Chris Statlander fight on the ramp. Darby then attacks Yuta, but then Pac comes out of nowhere, attacks Darby Allin. Moxley's here as well, pretty much sending a message to Darby Allin, leading up to their I Quit match at Wrestle Dream in a couple weeks. A couple of things I want to talk to you guys about, man, as far as AEW is concerned. And honestly, I didn't really even know how to approach this show. And to be honest with you, there's a lot to talk about, man. And before I even get started, I don't want to be one of those people that are constantly, trying to be negative with AEW, man. I know a lot of people in the podcast realm that do this. They always, are throwing hate and shade on AEW constantly and consistently. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, man. Well, I see some other reviews and other people in the podcast realm that do this. And I watch a lot of the podcasters that talk about this. I mean, why not? I'm in the same kind of business. Do I blame them for being pissed off and agitated with AEW? No, I do not. I just don't, man. I think, after what we saw for AEW's Dynamite, their 6th anniversary show, the video package, everything else like that, and then you still have Tony Khan admitting that 2025 has been the best year in AEW's existence. It's almost laughable and honestly cringy. 2025 and 2024 for AEW has been absolutely fucking abysmal for this company. And I've told you guys this multiple times now. I feel like it's at this point I'm a broken record that ever since they signed that new TV deal with Time Warner and Warner Media, I mean, Tony Khan took his foot off the gas pedal and was pumping the brakes. He was trying to do whatever he could at that time to make AEW seem profitable and see something that some company was worth spending a lot of money on to give them a TV deal. Once he secured that TV deal, man, he didn't give a shit about the fans. He didn't give a shit about what he was presenting on television. He just didn't care. And it's continually keeps showing, bro. The logic gaps in this shit is unbelievable. So, how I want to approach this with you guys, man, I want to talk about everything with this show. I just gave you guys a rundown of the matches the best way that I could, without sounding like a broken record. But there was a lot to digest after what we saw on AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday, or this Wednesday, that I want to talk to you guys about, man. And honestly, it's not going to be, the greatest as far as me, praising AEW. It's not. We get this 6-man tag team matchup to start off the night. We got Alexander and the Young Bucks taking on Kenny Omega and Bandito and Brody King in a 6-man tag team matchup. Was the match itself a good match? It was a solid match. But I'll say this too, man. After the match was over, I made comments about this a couple months back about Omega. You can just tell that this guy does not want to fucking be there, man. Omega don't want to be there. He does not want to be there. He looks like he's there to collect a check. He's not happy. You can tell the guy is just not happy. You know what I mean? And like the thing of it is, people always go back to the fact that when he had that matchup, when he returned from diverticulitis, people always say, well, I don't understand why he didn't have his first match back after dealing with diverticulitis in AEW. No, his first match back was in New Japan when he wrestled Gabe Kidd. And you can tell how excited, how happy he was to be in New Japan, and how thrilled he was to actually step inside the squared circle again. Kenny Omega coming back to AEW, bro, it just seemingly seems as if he just does not want to fucking be there. He's not happy. He cuts that promo at the end of the match, thanking the fans and talking about his journey with AEW and being a day one guy. And, you know, obviously a lot, even he admitted himself that a lot has changed in AEW over the past 5 years, and he's absolutely correct on that shit. I mean, you lost the likes of Cody Rhodes, you lost CM Punk, Jay Cargill's gone, Ricky Starks is gone, Penta and Phoenix are gone. I mean, this company has lost an abundance of talent already that has ultimately almost crippled this company. I mean, if you look at the narrative right now, bro, with the people that walked away from AEW, you look at the likes of someone like Cody Rhodes, who is the flagship guy, if you will, over in WWE. He is the standard bearer of WWE. He is the guy that's carrying this company on his back. He's the Universal Champion. He's the quarterback of WWE, and he's doing fantastic over in WWE. And it's got to be a slap in the face to Tony Khan. You dropped the fucking ball with the likes of Cody Rhodes. And maybe it was something where Cody Rhodes saw the writing on the wall before shit was getting bad and was like, you know what, I'm just going to get the fuck up out of here. But I don't understand how you let a guy like that go. Now, does Cody Rhodes probably have aspirations to go back to WWE and try to win the Universal title? Probably. Absolutely. It was probably something on his to-do list, his bucket list. Absolutely. Now, was he going to go to WWE as fast as he did? Maybe not. If things were different, I mean, you got to understand this too. I mean, he was also wrestling in AEW towards the end of his tenure there without a contract. This was a handshake deal between Rhodes and Tony Khan. And that was it. There was nothing signed, sealed, and delivered for Cody Rhodes to stay with AEW at the end of his tenure. It was a handshake deal. He wasn't under contract with AEW, but he stayed loyal to them until he figured out what he wanted to do. And he ended up figuring out what the hell he wanted to do and got the hell up out and went to WWE. And it was a major return. And, I mean, look where Cody Rhodes is at now. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you can also look at CM Punk. I mean, can you praise Tony Khan for bringing CM Punk back into wrestling? Absolutely. I don't think we would have the likes of CM Punk if it wasn't for the likes of AEW and Tony Khan being around and bringing in someone like CM Punk. I mean, Punk was gone from wrestling for like 8 years. And, you know, when AEW came around and Tony Khan brought him in, I mean, it shocked the world. It shocked the wrestling world for sure. So you got to give Tony Khan credit on that. But, again, CM Punk leaves AEW, goes to WWE, and literally just, I mean, shocked the world. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. You lost Jay Cargill, which, I mean, obviously wasn't a humongous loss. You lost Ray Phoenix. You lost Penta. You lost Ricky Starks. But that duration of them trying to leave, you look at all the backstage stuff that's going on, you could tell that a lot of the people were not happy. You know what I mean? This company doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, man. They just don't. And then we get Andrade making his return to AEW, which he pretty much makes history being the first wrestler since AEW has been around to go from WWE to AEW, back to WWE, back to AEW again. He shows up on Dynamite and then ends up beating the shit out of Kenny Omega. It looks like Kenny Omega is the guy that, you know, someone makes a return or a comeback. Kenny Omega is the guy that they, you know, point the finger at and say, you know what, I'm going to beat the hell out of Kenny Omega. When Kenny Omega looks like he doesn't even want to be there to begin with, honestly. And then we have Andrade shaking hands with Don Callis, and it looks like seemingly Andrade has joined the Don Callis family. I'm going to tell you guys, man, I think that's a huge fucking L, to be honest with you. I mean, Don Callis and the Don Callis family, they're building this shit up like, you know, NWO 2.0. I'm not sitting here saying they got the same amount of talent that the NWO had, hell no. But they're trying to build this Don Callis family as the main faction on AEW television with the likes of Lance Archer, Brian Cage, Rocky Romero, Trent Beretta, Kyle Fletcher, Takeshita, Okada, Hechicero, now the addition also of Hologram, or the heel Hologram, as well as Andrade. I don't know how Andrade is going to fit in the Don Callis family. Now, I made comments about this when Andrade was, you know, reportedly released from WWE, how I would bring him back to AEW, and I told you guys, and I stand behind this. I would have brought him back and had him join LFI with the likes of Rush, Dralistico, and the Beast Mortos, and have Andrade come in as that fourth guy to have them go up against the Death Riders. I would have had, I mean, it writes itself. Or you just would have had Rush teaming up with Andrade, and those guys go after the tag team titles, and it's, I mean, it writes itself, folks, to be honest with you. I mean, and my thing is, I understand Andrade has a hard time cutting promos or having a hard time speaking English and stuff like that. I get it. I mean, majority of his career, besides his last tenure in WWE, I mean, he was with Selena Vega during his NXT run and when he first got on the main roster. I mean, I would have brought in someone like Electro Lopez, who's a free agent, to be the spokesperson for Andrade, to be honest with you. I mean, the way it's looking right now with Andrade being in the Don Callis family, it just seems like Andrade is going to be teaming up with Hechicero going after the AEW tag team titles, which, I mean, it's just, it's fucking ridiculous, man. It is. I mean, at the end of the day, you bring in someone like Andrade in this stable, and right now, I don't know where Andrade is going to fit into this stable right now. Andrade should have came in on his own with maybe Elektra Lopez or someone else to be the spokesperson for Andrade, and have Andrade be the top heel or babyface in AEW. No, we have him joining the heel stable of the Don Callis family. A stable that's already bloated as it is with Kyle Fletcher, Takeshita, Hechicero, Lance Archer, Romero, Beretta. You know what I mean? Like Okada. I mean, the stables they're building this shit like the NWO 2.0. I would have put Andrade back with LFI. I don't understand why we're not seeing Roosh on AEW television. No, he's over at fucking Ring of Honor. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make fucking sense at all, man. Like, at all. And at the end of the day, as a fan and someone who does this for a living and watching pro wrestling, man, it's fucking nerve-wracking. It's like, and the thing of it is, man, people are like, oh, well, everybody wants to bash AEW. Bro, the thing of it is, the difference between WWE and AEW is that they're over in AEW, they're so delusional. Like, it's seemingly, you can see everything unfolding as it's being played out. And how shitty this shit is. I mean, it's blatant. They just don't give a shit how you feel. This is what they're going to give you, whether you like it or not. And their whole mission statement is, oh, we put on great wrestling matches. Bro, you're not... No, here's the thing with that shit. If you want those great wrestling matches to actually make a difference and be, you know, life-lasting or long-lasting, build a story around those fucking matches so we can invest it in these matches. So those matches that you're putting on as 5-star classic bangers... we can go back and say, man, I remember this match, or I remember this match. I mean, Christ, bro, even nowadays, there's so many matches, even from WWE's history, that people go back to and like, oh, man, I remember that match. I remember that moment. Shawn and Razor. Ladder match. WrestleMania, I believe it was WrestleMania 10. Mankind and Taker. King of the Ring. I think it was, 98? Something like that, when he threw Mankind over the goddamn Hell in a Cell and literally almost thought that he killed Mankind, throwing him off the goddamn Hell in a Cell. Those matches, bro, that people that remember because there's storyline around those matches. Shawn and Bret. You know what I mean? The Iron Man match. The story in that. Matches like that, people are going to remember, bro. You can put on 5-star matches every single time. But if there's no story, it takes away from the fucking match. So like I said, as far as like Andrade is concerned, is it cool to see him back in AEW? Sure. There is some matches on the table for Andrade that would be good for him in AEW. Andrade, Will Ospreay, Andrade, obviously Kenny Omega. Andrade, you could put Andrade versus Eddie Kingston. You could put Andrade versus, I mean, hell, bro, you could put Andrade versus Kyle Fletcher, even though they're in the Don Callis family. I mean, there's matches on the table for Andrade and AEW that would be good, entertaining matches. My issue with Andrade being with the Don Callis family is I don't know how he's going to fit into this stable that's already bloated. Already. You know what I mean? They're teasing a split up with Takeshita because he's beefing with Okada. I would love to see Takeshita versus Okada for the Unified Championship because I'm going to tell you right now, bro, I think besides maybe Kyle Fletcher, and with all due respect to Okada, the original Don Callis family, I put Takeshita number 1 or number 2 in that entire stable. Takeshita is severely underrated. I mean, I believe this guy just won the G1 over in New Japan not too long ago, so I would love to see a match between Takeshita and Okada for the Unified Championship, and that match should happen at Wrestle Dream. It'd be a great fucking match, but we're not getting that match. As far as right now, we don't know what's going on between Takeshita and Okada. So there's also that. And then we get through the night, last night, and then like I said, bro, there's so many fucking logic gaps with this shit. We get Tony Storm making comments about Chris Statlander, and now we're going to get a matchup again, a rematch against Tony Storm and Chris Statlander for the AEW Women's Championship. Well, here's the problem with this that I have. You're backing yourself into a corner with this fucking match because for 2 reasons. One, if Stat goes into this match defending the AEW Women's Championship against Tony Storm and loses the match in her first title defense, basically, at a pay-per-view, and loses, then Statlander's title run means absolutely jack shit. And then if we go into the other side of the coin, where Stat does beat Tony Storm, how does this make Tony Storm look? You know what I mean? Where at the end of the day, she lost clean in a roll-up against Stat to lose that title originally. No, but we're going to run it back. You know why we're running it back? Because there's nobody fucking else, man. That's why we're running this shit back with Toni Storm and Stat. There's nobody else. Prime example, bro. Do you honestly think right now Mercedes Moné is going to drop the TBS title and lose a fucking match right now? No. So they had to pick one or the other. It was going to be Moné or Toni Storm. They're going to pick Toni Storm. I think, in my opinion, Toni Storm's well ahead, moreover, than Mercedes Moné, in my opinion. But one of those ladies had to lose, and they picked Toni Storm to drop the belt to Chris Statlander at the last pay-per-view. So then here we are, we're running this shit back. Moné's not dropping that TBS title until they beat Jade Cargill's record, because for some reason Tony Khan has this issue where Jade holding this record for the TBS title run, and now Jade's over in WWE. So because Tony Khan's so petty, we got to have Moné hold on to this women's TBS championship until we beat Chris Statlander's TBS title record. It's fucking ridiculous. And not for nothing, I don't even know if Toni loses this matchup against Stat, how's this going to make Toni look? Back of the line? One of your top females on the roster? What is it going to do for Toni Storm? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So we're going to be running that shit back for nothing. It's ridiculous, bro. And then, on top of that shit, one of the biggest things that really this made me scratch my head was the fact that we get a 6-man tag team matchup with Adam Page and the Ops taking on the Death Riders. And then Page and the Ops were successful in this matchup. But then after the match, you could see Page handing the trios titles over to Hobbs and to Samoa Joe. The belt that he gives Joe drops on the mat. Joe gets pissed off. He tells Adam Page that you never beat me. You have never beat me. So that after that, we get an impromptu matchup that's announced for Wrestle Dream between Adam Page and Samoa Joe for the AEW World title. Now, on paper, yeah, the match seems great. I'm not sitting here saying that I'm not a fan of Samoa Joe. But we're building this matchup off the fact that a belt was dropped in the middle of the ring, and Joe's saying that Adam Page has never beat him. That's the direction that we're going leading into Wrestle Dream, because there's nobody else, except for one person. One person that they overlooked to have this AEW World title matchup, and that was Mark Briscoe. And the reason why I'm saying that is because MJF and Briscoe just happened in a tables and tacks match at the last pay-per-view AEW just had, and Briscoe beat MJF. To me, MJF right now is the number one contender for the AEW World title, with MJF holding that AEW World Championship contract that he's yet to cash in. So Briscoe beats MJF at the last pay-per-view, so we're just going to overlook Mark Briscoe, and we're going to give the match to Samoa Joe. What the fuck are we doing here? To me, Briscoe would be the next guy to challenge Adam Page for the AEW World title. No, we're going to go the route with Samoa Joe when Samoa Joe has been tied up with the goddamn Death Riders for the past 10 fucking months. But because a belt dropped that was handed to Samoa Joe and the belt dropped on the mat, that's the storyline we're building here, and that's why we're getting Samoa Joe versus Adam Page for the AEW World title at this year's Wrestle Dream. What the fuck? Why? Why? This entire past 10 months, Samoa Joe has been in tune and locked on to the Death Riders, trying to do whatever he can to get rid of Jon Moxley and the Death Riders. Now, he takes his focus off that after being involved with that for 10 months to go after Adam Page for the AEW World title. What the hell has Samoa Joe done in the past 10 months in a singles run, mind you, to grant him an AEW World title opportunity at this year's Wrestle Dream? Please do tell me that, because as far as I'm concerned, we've only seen Samoa Joe teaming up with the Ops, whether it's Powerhouse Hobbs or Shibata, for the past 10 months. So what has Samoa Joe done on his singles run to actually grant him an opportunity at the AEW World title? Nothing. Logically, I would have gave it to Mark Briscoe, considering the fact that Briscoe just beat MJF, who MJF seemingly seems as if he's the number one contender for the AEW World title as it sits right now, especially with him sitting on that contract, waiting to cash it in. But Briscoe beat MJF at the last pay-per-view. So why are we overlooking Mark Briscoe to give Samoa Joe a title match where Samoa Joe hasn't had a probably singles match in 10 months? If that. Could be maybe, 9 months, 8 months, something like that. But still, at the end of the day, When you see Samoa Joe, he's usually teaming up with Powerhouse Hobbs or Shibata, with the Ops taking on another, tag team. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? What are we doing? Seriously. What are we doing? And no offense, bro, Adam Page's title reign so far has been complete and utter shit. And I'm not blaming Adam Page on that. I'm blaming TK and AEW on that. I mean, come on, bro. What was it, last week? We were in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and then you have the AEW World Champion throwing out an open challenge. And the person who accepts that open challenge is none other than Lee Moriarty. And the reason why they booked that fucking match to begin with is because Moriarty is from the Pittsburgh area. Come on, bro. What the fuck are we doing here? And why is the world champion throwing out open challenges for the AEW world title? What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? And like I said, they only gave that fucking match to Moriarty is because he's from Pittsburgh. Meanwhile, you have one of the biggest female wrestlers of all time in AEW sitting in, Guantanamo Bay with Britt Baker, who's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and she don't even make an appearance. Nothing from Britt Baker. Not a vignette, not an appearance, nothing from Britt Baker. No, we get Lee Moriarty. And you know what? Because he's from the Pittsburgh area, let's get Lee Moriarty an AEW World title shot against Adam Page. Are you fucking kidding me? Adam Page's title reign has been complete and utter shit right now. And I'm not blaming Page. I blame AEW and Tony Khan. And then we're getting this matchup against Samoa Joe, bro, at WrestleDream. And you're basing that match off the fact that Joe's never beat, or Adam Page has never beat Samoa Joe. And because Joe got pissed off that when Page handed him his Trios Championship, the title hit the mat, and it pissed Samoa Joe off. So that's what we're building this off of. Are you fucking kidding me? Seriously. When you got Mark Briscoe literally sitting there waiting for an opportunity. An opportunity that he should have got leading up to WrestleDream after he just beat MJF. And here's the other thing, folks. At the end of the day, you guys can say what you want. But because this company does not build younger stars, with the likes of Swerve, Ospreay, Adam Cole, you can even throw Keith Lee in that mix, Britt Baker not being on television, all these Serena Deeb, Nyla Rose, Sheeta, all these fucking names that are out right now, it's hurting this company. It's absolutely hurting. And it's an absolute damn shame because you can't predict them getting injured or taking time off. MJF is taking some time off. We don't know when we're going to see MJF come back. Ospreay's out with neck injury. He just had neck surgery. Swerve is out with, I think, a torn ACL or MCL or something like that. He's going to be out. Like, what the fuck are we doing here, man? And unfortunately, because they don't know how to build younger stars, with the names of Ospreay, Swerve, and Adam Cole, and all these people being out, it's hurting AEW's television. Which is crazy because this roster is bloated with talent. You just don't know how to build younger stars, bro. You don't give a shit. I made comments about this, 2-3 weeks ago? That you got a former WWE guy in Bobby Lashley who's almost 50, if not 50, more over than your AEW originals at this point. The Hurt Syndicate are immensely over in AEW. Over than the day one guys that have been there. It's fucking insane. It's insane. I think WrestleDream this year is going to be shit, to be honest with you. We got Stat, Tony Storm. We got Adam Page, Samoa Joe for the AEW World title. We got Darby Allin and Jon Moxley in a I Quit match. And that's all that's been booked so far for WrestleDream. What the fuck are we doing here, man? Honestly. I know Monet is supposed to be defending the TBS title next week on Title Tuesday. She wants to go up against somebody that she hasn't faced yet. Somebody from, the Florida area. That could be a return, maybe a debut of Shayna Baszler, Dakota Kai. Great. Do I think Monet's going to win that matchup? Sure. She's not dropping that TBS title. Not yet. Not until she beats Jade Cargill's record. This company's fucking delusional, man. I'm sorry. I don't, like I said, bro, I'm not sitting here trying to bash AEW week in and week out. I'm not. But I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat shit and say when shit's good when it's not. This show fucking sucks. We don't know where the direction this company's going. WrestleDream looks like absolute shit at this point. You're throwing ideas against the wall hoping something would fucking stick, and it's not sticking, bro. It's not. Look, I respect the hell out of Samoa Joe. I think Samoa Joe's great. I'm not taking anything away from that guy. But can I honestly give a rat's ass about an Adam Page and Samoa Joe AEW World Championship match? I don't give a shit about that match. I just don't, bro. Logically, it makes no fucking sense. I don't want to see Samoa Joe versus Adam Page, bro. It seems like a lazy match, a lazy booking attempt from AEW. I'd rather had seen Adam Page defend the AEW World title against Mark Briscoe at this point. And that's being generous, only because I'm saying the fact that I think Briscoe deserves it after he just beat MJF. But both of those matches, if they were to happen, am I thrilled about it? No, I'm not. I'm not. I'd rather see MJF versus Adam Page and have MJF actually cash in that goddamn contract. Yes. I mean, God, bro, it's like, I don't understand it, man. I just don't get it. You have all these free agents out there that, and seemingly Tony Khan has enough money. Bro, let's start looking into some of these talents and build these talents up. Something. Dakota Kai still sitting on the shelf. Shayna Baszler is taking independent dates. Why are we not bringing Shayna in? She's obviously friends with Marina Shafir and some other AEW talent. Bring her in. Dakota Kai, bring her in. The tag team division, Authors of Pain, bring them in. If they're free agents, bring them in. It wouldn't hurt the tag team division, that's for damn sure. As far as Karrion Kross is concerned, bro, then here's the other thing too. With Kross, bro, would I love to see Kross on AEW television? Yeah. Kross is severely underrated. But the way it's starting to look, bro, I feel like this whole shit with Karrion Kross is a big-ass work, to be honest with you. I think that WWE is going to bring Kross back with Scarlett and have Karrion Kross, Scarlett, and the Righteous make a stable out of those guys and bring them back into WWE. I see Kross going back to WWE relatively soon. I just don't see him going anywhere else, bro. I know he's taking independent dates and shit like that. There's a reason, obviously, that he's not going over to AEW. I think he's trying to keep the doors open right now, keep this shit going, and have everybody think that it's not a work when it is, and for him to go right back to WWE, to be honest with you. I feel like they're going to pull a ruse on everybody, just like how Seth Rollins did when he was injured and came back and ultimately cost CM Punk his match. Same shit like that. I'd be shocked to see Kross in AEW. Would I love to see him in AEW? Sure. There's a lot of matches on the table for Karrion Kross in AEW. And if they gave him creative control over his character and the vignettes and everything else that he can do and sell them at, absolutely. I would love to see Kross in AEW. But do I think it's going to happen, bro? I don't know. I'm starting to believe that this whole Kross thing is a big-ass work, to be honest with you, and that he is on his way back to WWE with Scarlett, and they're going to reunite Kross or have Kross and Scarlett team up with the Righteous coming into WWE. That's just my opinion, bro. I think that's the way they're going over in WWE. Because no offense, not for nothing, man. Even if Kross declined a situation with AEW and didn't want to work with them, at least it would have been out in the open and everybody would have known what's going on. And no offense, if Tony Khan is that much of a dumbass not to reach out to a free agent like Karrion Kross to bring into AEW, then I don't know what to tell you, man. You're in the wrong business, brother. Because no offense, you can have Karrion Kross and he's a main event guy. Could you imagine Karrion Kross versus Jon Moxley? Kross versus Page? Kross versus Omega? Kross versus Ospreay? Kross versus Swerve? Come on, bro. I mean, Christ, man, those matches alone would sell like hotcakes. You know what I mean? Like, you would be a dumbass not to consider bringing in someone like Karrion Kross. Absolutely. Absolutely. The guy's very talented. He's great with video packages and stuff like that, vignettes. He has a great mind for the business. Yeah, you would be a complete and utter dumbass not to consider bringing in someone like Karrion Kross into AEW. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I don't know. So, at the end of the day, bro, AEW needs to get better. I don't know what else more to say or what, at this point, what I can do. It's getting to a point where it's almost nauseating watching this fucking show. Seriously. I don't know where the hell they're going from here. Wrestle Dream is not looking like it's going to be a great pay-per-view. I think the one match I'm looking forward to the most is maybe Darby versus Jon Moxley in the I Quit match. Right now on paper, that's about it. You know what I mean? We had Jurassic Express show up on Dynamite as well. There was no rebuttal from them. They just came out and saved Kenny Omega. There was really no rebuttal from them. They just came out during one of the matches. There was no like rebuttal from Jack Perry nor Luchasaurus. It just was nothing. You know what I mean? They came out of to the ring and that was it. Not a reason why that Perry's reuniting with Luchasaurus, vice versa. Nothing. We got no rebuttal from that. Hell, we haven't even seen Eddie Kingston on AEW television yet. You know what I mean? We're gonna see him on, I think, Collision against Drew Listico. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Like, no one cares a fuck about, like, Collision, man. Dynamite is your A show. Why are we not seeing Eddie Kingston on your A show? Why? No, we're going to put him on Collision. Like, it's fucking ridiculous, man. I don't know. I really don't know. It's just getting to a point, bro, where it's getting illogical at this point. Logic gaps out the wazoo. Shit's not making sense. You bring Andrade back just to put him with the Don Callis family when... I mean, LFI is sitting right there, bro. You can reunite them with Roosh, Drew Listico, and the Beast Mortos. And have them go up against the Death Riders. Why not? And they could be a babyface stable. Why not? You know what I mean? Like, it's not hard to comprehend, folks. It's not hard to book this shit. It's not. They just don't want to do it. They just don't want to do it. And I would have had, for me personally, I would have had Andrade and LFI just run roughshod on the AEW roster. Especially the Death Riders. Absolutely. You got 4 on 4. You got Andrade, Roosh, Drew Listico, and the Beast Mortos taking on Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, the Wheeler Yuta, and Pac. I mean, come on, bro. You can book that as a pay-per-view match. Christ, you could have Andrade and Roosh teaming up to go after the AEW tag team titles. Like, it's not hard, bro. You could have brought in Elektra Lopez to come in as a free agent. Align herself up with Andrade so she can be the spokesperson for Andrade rather than him joining the Don Callis family. Come on, you know what I mean? Or Jose the assistant, bring him in, align himself back up with Andrade, be the spokesperson for Andrade. No, we get Andrade teaming up with Don Callis family. Come on, man. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Honestly. Seriously, like, it doesn't make sense, bro. Think about it. Andrade comes in, he's teaming up with Elektra Lopez. She's a spokesperson for Andrade. Andrade's the new babyface of AEW. Great. No, we get Don Callis family. A stable that is already bloated as it is at this point. You know what I mean? Or not only that, Andrade teaming up with, like I said, LFI. And have them be the babyface stable in AEW and have them go up against the Death Riders, bro. I mean, come on, bro. It makes perfect sense. Especially if we're leading into Blood and Guts, you can have a men's and women's Blood and Guts match. Why not? LFI versus the Death Riders. And then you had the women's Blood and Guts match. Perfect. I'll take it. Nope. We get Andrade with Don Callis family. It's just, like, you know what I'm saying, bro? It just doesn't make fucking sense at all. It just doesn't. Adam Page versus Samoa Joe for the world title. It doesn't make any fucking sense. When you got Mark Briscoe waiting there for an opportunity, and an opportunity that should be given to him after he just beat basically the number 1 contender in MJF at the last AEW pay-per-view. But no, we're going to give it to Samoa Joe. The hell with Mark Briscoe. I mean, come on, bro. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Seriously. Like, I mean, it writes itself. Why? I mean, God, man. It's crazy to think that they just overlook Mark Briscoe like that. Oh, we're going to give it to Samoa Joe. When, like I said, Samoa Joe seemingly has been dealing with the Death Riders now for the past 9 to 10 months. All of a sudden now you want to flip the script and give Samoa Joe versus Adam Page for the AEW World title because Joe was pissed off that the title hit the mat. That's the storyline we're building off of, leading up to this match. Come on, man. Come on. It's fucking ridiculous. It's honestly ridiculous. To be honest. And for those people that when, the lights went out on Kenny Omega and the lights came back on, a lot of people didn't even think that was Andrade. A lot of people thought that was Chris Jericho under the mask that was going to attack Kenny Omega. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, man. It's absolutely fucking insane the way AEW's mindset is right now. But Tony Khan believes that 2025 has been the best year in AEW's existence. Bullshit. How can you say that 2025 has been the best year for AEW when in the first 3 years of this company, you had the likes of Cody Rhodes, the debut of CM Punk after him being gone from 8 years from professional wrestling. You had the debut of Sting, or pretty much, the debut of Sting, Brody Lee, all these great moments, great matches, Inner Circle, JAS, the Lucha Bros, and the first 3 years of AEW, bro, to what we are now. But you still believe that 2025 is the best year in AEW's existence. Are you fucking insane? Like I said, bro, I don't know what the hell's in that coffee cup that Tony Khan's drinking, but someone needs to please take that shit away from him, bro. He is fucking delusional. 2025 has been the worst year in AEW's existence, man. You guys went from selling out arenas to barely selling out bingo halls in South Philly. You know what I'm saying? But 2025 is the best year in AEW's existence. The only thing that's keeping this company afloat right now is your pay-per-views, and that's not saying a lot because pay-per-view buys are down, even at a discounted rate. Come on, bro. Like, I mean, it's fucking insane. It's insane that you're that naive and delusional to think what you're doing is actually working. You have top talent that you're sticking around, that you have around it, but you're putting over in Guantanamo Bay because you have disagreements with that person. Like Britt Baker. Baker should have made her return to AEW when they were in Pittsburgh last week, but no, we got Lee Moriarty instead. Imagine the pop that AEW would have got with the return of Britt Baker in her hometown of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Britt Baker's better off getting the hell out of AEW and going over to WWE if she wants to continue her wrestling career at this point. But no, Tony Khan wants to keep her until probably 2027 and add dates onto her contract. Oh yeah. Because Tony Khan's like that. You look at situations that he had with Ricky Starks and Ray Phoenix, oh, you better believe he's going to be doing the same shit to Britt Baker. Oh, yes. Oh, hell yes. Baker's better off getting the hell up out of AEW. Seriously. Tony Khan, he gets in his feelings, bro, and he gets all pissed off and everything else like that. And if he don't like somebody or they don't agree with the way that things are going or if they're friends with CM Punk, he puts him in Guantanamo Bay. I don't have a need for you. Like I said, bro, Cody Rhodes was the soul of AEW, but CM Punk was the life force, the ace in the hole, if you will, for AEW to have them surpass WWE. And because he lost Rhodes and he lost his ace in the hole, if you will, with CM Punk, Tony Khan's been a pissed off little man, to be honest with you. And it's showing. Absolutely showing. He doesn't give a fuck, man. He does not care. What you see is what you get. He doesn't believe in storylines. He thinks he's booking this shit like it's New Japan or All Japan Pro Wrestling. We're just going to give you 5-star classic matches. I ain't going to lie, bro. If you're going to look at it from that aspect, you can't tell me there's a 5-star classic match coming up in this year's Wrestle Dream. To be honest. And like I said, bro, with the injuries that AEW has sustained over the past couple months, it's hurting this company. With having guys that are on the shelf like Will Ospreay and Swerve and Keith Lee and Adam Cole, it's hurting this company. MJF's taking some time off. It's hurting AEW because they don't know how to build younger stars and compelling storylines to get the fans invested. Because all the fans want to see now is the return of Ospreay or Swerve because that's what the fans want to see because you're not building younger stars. That's ultimately the issue with AEW. You're not building for the future. You're building for the right here and now. So when all these guys that you have on the roster, like, I don't know, Bobby Lashley and Omega, and when these guys start to hang it up and retire, where's AEW going to sit at for the next 10 years, man? Or the next 5 years? Because you're not building younger talent now. You're not. You're crippling the younger talent. You're not really giving a rat's ass about the younger talent. You're building the here and now. Guys that are almost in their 50s at this point, that are on their way out. You need to build younger stars. Guys like Kyle Fletcher who can actually take AEW to the future for the next 10 to 15 years. Fletcher's great. But when it comes time for a high-profile matchup, you just destroy Fletcher. Look what happened with him and Adam Page. He took the L. He took the loss. Guys like MJF that can also carry this company for the next 5 to 10 years. MJF in the past, year? Maybe a year and a half hasn't done shit in AEW. Hell, he just lost to Briscoe in a tables and tax match. And now he's taking some time off to, find himself, if you will. I hope he comes back as a pissed off MJF. The devil incarnate himself, MJF. And he comes back and runs roughshop on AEW and becomes AEW World Champion because we need it. We need it. You need guys like MJF. You need guys like Kyle Fletcher. Hell, Takeshita can be another guy that can carry this company for the next 5-10 years. Let's start pushing Takeshita. Why are we not entertaining the idea of Okada versus Takeshita for the Unified Championship? Orange Cassidy's another guy you can carry this company with for the next 5-10 years. Sure. It could have been Daniel Garcia as well, but I don't see it being Daniel Garcia. Darby Allin could be another guy that can carry this company easily for the next 5-10 years if you utilize him and use him correctly. But we're not doing that at all. Instead, we're giving guys that are up there in age the main event scene and main event spot now. You know, like I said, I mentioned Andrade. Andrade coming back, yeah, it's great. But you're putting him back with the Don Callis family. I would have put him, again, logically, would have put him, you know, in the LFI. But no, we're going to put Sammy Guevara with LFI. Which makes no fucking sense what's at all of putting Guevara with LFI. At all. So, again, logic gaps. Andrade should have been with LFI, not Sammy Guevara. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, man. It blows my fucking mind to think that this is the way that AEW wants to go. You know what I mean? Logic gaps out the wazoo, shit that doesn't make sense. I mean, I think a lot of people are in agreement that it should be Mark Briscoe versus Adam Page and not Samoa Joe. Seriously. I mean, they literally threw that shit together on the fucking fly with Joe and Adam Page on Dynamite. Literally. They were probably, Tony Khan was probably in Gorilla, was like, you know what, we're going to book this match right now. No build, no storyline, bro. It's just, this is what we're going to get. And it's a shame, because like I said, I have all the respect in the world for Samoa Joe, bro, but I can give a rat's ass about Samoa Joe versus Adam Page for the AEW World title. I don't give a shit. It means nothing. And Adam Page's title reign right now has been complete and utter shit, man. I mean, this guy literally just had an open challenge last week to put his AEW World title on the line against Lee Moriarty. Makes no sense. At all. Things need to change for this company, bro. I don't know what it's going to take or what's going to happen, but shit needs to change. Because this AEW, they don't give a shit, man. They just don't. They don't. You introduce AEW Women's Tag Team Championships, and we got nothing more about that. We don't even know where the hell they're going with that, when it's going to take place. Is there going to be a tournament? We got nothing for that. Nothing. So I don't know where they're going to go, man. I just, to me, this... And not only that, they were celebrating their 6th-year anniversary from AEW. 6 years of AEW. When the past 2 years have been complete shit, but you have Tony Khan still saying that 2025 has been the best year in AEW's existence. Come on, man. I already gave examples. Pay-per-view numbers are down. Talent has left. You guys are barely selling out bingo halls. But you're still saying 2025 is the best year in AEW's existence, man. That's just you being naive and delusional. At this point. You think whatever your hell you're doing is working, and it's not. And for those people out there, and they know who they are, that are trying to say that this shit's good, bro, you're just trying to kiss Tony Khan's ass. And you know who you are. You know exactly who you are. And it makes me sick to my stomach, bro, that people don't have their own way of thinking. That they're just trying to rub shoulders with these people to get in the good graces for them. It's not me. It's just not. I'm here to keep it real, man. I'm not here to rub shoulders with these people and be their best friend. I'm not. When the shit's good, I'll tell you guys it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. I'm not looking to go to the post-media scrums and shit like... I'm not. I'm just not. To be honest with you. People need... And the thing of it is, man, I respect the hell out of people that do this, that give their honest reaction of how they feel. That they're not here to sugarcoat shit. And they know who they are. I'm not going to mention who they are. You guys know who they are. That give their genuine feelings about these shows, whether it's Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, or AEW. Because you can tell, bro, the passion that these people have for professional wrestling. They're not here to sugarcoat shit to get in the good graces to sit at the media scrums with these companies just to be a kiss ass. Those people that are giving the real honest answers and how they feel are people that are genuinely wrestling fans that care about professional wrestling. Not looking for engagement with other people to try to get clicks and everything else like that and get engagement and hike up their TikTok channel or their YouTube channel or whatever the hell they have just to get engagement to hype up their shit. No. There's certain podcasters out here like myself that do this, that put out genuinely how they feel. And I respect the hell out of that, man, because nobody wants that fake ass shit. They just don't. They just don't. And the thing of it is, people get up in arms and they get all pissed off about people actually giving how they feel about professional wrestling. You give your opinion about how you feel about professional wrestling, and people, oh, I can't believe he said this or said that. Then go somewhere else, bro. Go to somewhere that somebody's going to easily just tell you what you want to hear to satisfy your needs and go on about your day. But when you come to this podcast, I'm going to keep it real. I thought the Dynamite episode, the 6th-year anniversary show for Dynamite, was shit. I thought it sucked. I thought there's a lot of logic gaps. The Wrestle Dream looks like it's going to be complete and utter shit. I don't understand why we just overlook Mark Briscoe for an AEW World Championship when he just beat MJF clean, and MJF seemingly seems as if he is the number one contender right now from Page, and Briscoe just beat him at the last pay-per-view. So why are we overlooking Mark Briscoe for an AEW World title opportunity? Why? Instead, we're going to give it to Samoa Joe when Joe has been seemingly tied up with the Death Riders for the past 9 to 10 months. And all of a sudden now he flipped script because he got pissed off that his belt hit the mat, that Page was going, the trio's belt that he was going to give Samoa Joe would hit the ring mat, and it pissed Samoa Joe off, where he tells Adam Page, well, you haven't beat me yet, and smacks the piss out of Adam Page. And then Page says, you know what, if you want an opportunity, I'll give you one. At Wrestle Dream, I'm going to defend my belt against Samoa Joe. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Like, what the fuck are we doing here, man? Seriously. Seriously. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are we doing here? And the fact of the matter is, bro, they have nobody else. They got nobody else. That's why we're running back Tony Storm and Chris Statlander, because there's nobody else. And it's not going to do either one of those women any good if they take the loss. It ain't going to do shit for Statlander. It's not going to do anything for Tony Storm. If anything, it's going to make them look worse than what they are now. Monet's not dropping that TBS title until she beats Jade Cargill's record, because Tony Khan doesn't want to have a former AEW superstar over in WWE that has a record in AEW. That's why Monet has the belt, and she wants to beat Jade Cargill's record. Hell, Monet wants to be the next Ultimo Dragon and have 10 goddamn titles. And it looks like on Dynamite they were teaming that with Monet possibly teaming up with Harley Cameron to go after the AEW Women's Tag Team Championships. Because Monet wants to be the next Ultimo Dragon. I mean, it's... Come on, man. Come on. And you guys know, you already know how I feel about Monet, bro. She is in business for herself, man. She is doing everything that she can to get everything out of AEW so she can go back into good graces of WWE. That's where she wants to go. She ain't sticking around with AEW for the long haul, bro. No. Nope, no. She is trying to do whatever she can to go back to WWE. And she's trying to do whatever she can to raise her stock when she's in AEW to entertain the idea of her going back to WWE and getting in the good graces of Nick Khan and Triple H. That's exactly what she's doing. She ain't no AEW lifer. That's for sure. She's doing whatever she can right now to raise her stock so she can go back to WWE once her contract's up with AEW. That's exactly what's going on here. And if you can't see that, I don't know what to tell you. I'd be shocked if she actually signs a deal. The only way I can see her re-signing with AEW once her contract is up is if one's not offered from her from WWE, or there's not enough money in that contract from WWE to give her for a new contract. That's the only way I see her staying with AEW. But I think she's trying to do whatever she can right now to get in the good graces of Nick Khan and Triple H to go back to WWE. Absolutely. Absolutely. So again, and she's not losing that belt. She's not losing that belt until she beats Cargill's TBS title record. So that's where we're going. So, I don't know, man. Things need to change with AEW, but I was not happy with the Dynamite episode. I think things need to change. Logic gaps are killing this show. And at this point, man, Wrestle Dream is just not looking that entertaining as of right now. Hopefully it changes, but as of right now, maybe besides Darby Allin and Jon Moxley, it's the only match that I'm honestly looking forward to at this year's Wrestle Dream. But with that being said, this is my review of AEW's